Yeah, man, I go by Nitres, the veteran, man. I'm actually from Raleigh, North Carolina originally, but I moved up north to DMV area, man. Lived up for like a couple of years and recently moved to PA. So this cat who I used to go by C Money Bags, and this cat who gave me the name, we started beefing. So in one of his like battle bars, he kind of like caught out the fact that he gave me the name I had or some shit like that. So not even going too deep into it, but like that time, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, fuck that. Like the saying I'm the bomb and shit was the saying. So I'm like, fuck that. I'm like nitrous and shit. So, I had a little different tweak to the spelling and shit, and that's how it happened, man. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember the point that you decided in your life you wanted to start making music?
Yeah, I do. It's crazy. So I was in fifth grade, and my best friend at the time, he was a rapper. And me being with him all the time and shit like that, I would go to his mother's house after school with him and shit. And he'd just be jotting. What the fuck is he doing? Anyway, he started teaching me how to rap. And so that whole year we were like, you know what I'm saying, to the point where we were writing battle bars at each other and like exchanging the paper. You know what I'm saying? To see who won type of shit. But that happened, and then he moved away like the following year on me. And I don't know, man. I just kept going, and he stopped.
Who were you inspired by during that period?
That was like the rise of Wayne. Wayne was in his bag. You know what I'm saying? So like, I was like one of the first cats in my circle they call him the Wayne's movement, man. And I was really inspired by Lil Wayne. You know what I'm saying? And I would say after that, I probably would say like a T.I. You know what I mean? At that point in my life, yeah.
Yeah, there was a certain period where I feel like no matter where you came from as a male, if you were in the culture, those two guys kind of represented the two dynamics of, what celebrity hip hop rap status looked like. Looked like whether it was the women, the videos, what they were saying, the lifestyle, like those two had I think like Jeezy was like there, but it was like that felt like a little bit different when you talked about that Hollywood the echelon, right? Like those two guys at a certain point were.
And it was crazy, bro. Like I want to say he started Young Money 2009. Yeah. So I originally at that point in time, man, like had like submitted and everything for that shit. But wasn't selected, of course. Otherwise, we'd be sitting here.
They had tryouts.
They had like auditions and shit for it. Like they had the not auditions. I mean, like you had to submit your shit to like a certain contact or some shit. So I like sent the EPK shit, all that, man. And I think for a while after that, like I got a little discouraged, man. It kind of, went a different route in my life for a little bit, dealing with other shit and career and stuff like that, trying to make that move a little bit more. But yeah, man, the last 4 years I've been back, like able to kind of sort through some personal life, regular life shit and really be back to the music for real.
Was not being accepted the catalyst for that, or was that a result of other things that was kind of going on? It was just like that on top of everything else.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that was the reason, but it's always like a domino effect. You got so much regular life shit going on, kids, marriage, divorce, all that shit. And mind you, I'm still super young at this point, so you got all that stuff going on, and then you got like at that point like I'm from the era like I'm talking to people over at TBT Records. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff is going on. It's like every door I kind of like halfway crack open starts to shut, you know what I'm saying? So I think that point was like, you know what? Let me just transition for a little bit and switch focus. I always kind of still did it, but the passion wasn't there, you know what I'm saying? And I think over time, you just kind of get that passion back when something's really in you. It's who you are, you know what I'm saying? And I think it got to a point where it's like, yeah, okay. Been a hiatus. They really, you know what I'm saying? Heard or see me in a minute. Now it's time to really, just come back full force.
Why'd you pop back up? What made you want to get back into it?
I would say just the mental space I was in, finding a better mental space. The game had changed tremendously. We're in the whole era of social media now, you know what I'm saying? So you're not really as reliant on a label per se or trying to get to a big, machine to move. You can do it yourself. And I kind of like started peeping the game and really like looking at it like, well, it's really in the hands of the independent creator these days. You know what I'm saying? and got a grasp on that shit, man. And I had been writing and shit like that, but I finally made my mind up, like, yo, I'm gonna put a project out. So I did that. And at that point, I got my project, I had like 3 years putting it together and dropped it. And the like response to that shit was crazy. So that's what it was like. It just rejuvenated me, I guess, per se. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get to, kind of that space of like, as an artist, as a creative, the train only can move as fast or as far as you are willing to drive it at any given time. So you could be going 100 miles an hour, but if you hit the brakes and you go to a full stop, everything else around
Everything around that shit collapses with it.
Yep. So it's not the world of, well, I don't have a mom or a dad or a brother or sister or a girlfriend or boyfriend pushing me, so that's the reason why I can't do it. It's like you saw in real time. When you pushing it, everybody else is going. If you back up, they follow your lead.
I mean, being fair, like just kind of being like real about it. Like at that time, bro, you talking about I'm going through a divorce. My grandparents that raised me, they both ended up, passing away about 2 years apart from each other. You know what I'm saying? Which was like my real support system. You know what I mean? Then the following year, actually between them, I lose a son. You know what I'm saying? So like all this is collapsing down on me at one time, kind of thing. So it was mostly just trying to figure out life at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? Figure out what I really want to do and shit like that. It's hard sometimes to see through the storm. Once you're out the storm, shit gets clear. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think I'm just at a point now, man, where like I've had to go through those I say obstacles, hurdles, or whatever, to essentially have a story. Really, I mean that's what gives you your story to talk about. You know what I'm saying? It's what makes you who you are, builds that confidence. Like, okay, if I make it through that shit, it ain't too much that's gonna break me. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it.
How did you handle at the time period? How did you handle all of it?
For real. So I'm the type of person like this, man. When shit hit me, that hurt about me and shit like that, I'm not really one to like show it on the outside or wear it. You know what I mean? A lot of my shit is really just I have to keep my mind occupied and stay busy. So even now, I'm a workaholic. I'll stay the long hours, do the shit others won't do because I don't like to be idle with my mind sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Just left alone with it. It's really like just keep that shit going, keep a thought, and there's never a time I'm not thinking. Shit, I dream every night. You know what I'm saying? My mind just has to have something going in it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a natural dreamer, natural thinker. So like I'm always thinking the next plan, processing something. And that's kind of how I went at that point in time. It's like, okay, this shit happened to me. People who pretty much was like my backbone, they're gone now. I'm still young at this point in time. So I done figured out now for me and mine kind of thing. I got kids and shit, you know what I'm saying? I got to figure out the next plan. So that's kind of how it went.
Talk to me about the idea of the concept of healing. What was that like for you? You talked about a lot of traumatic experiences. Can you?
Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly. Here's the thing though, man. Like, I don't think when certain things happen to you ever really heal per se, because it's always something that's going to affect you, right? I think just the further away from that experience you get, you kind of find a way to live a comfortable space to tolerate it at. You know what I mean? Like time, man. Like I said, man, you just can't be the type of person to succumb. You got to just fucking give yourself the time. I mean, think about it. I mean, it sounds crazy to analogize, to make an analogy this way, but like you fall off a bicycle when you were a kid, but your damn knee wide open. It hurts like shit in the moment, right? But a year later, how you feel about that? It's a memory at that point. So, I think with time, time heals everything.
Did you do any like therapy or?
Nah. I mean, I ain't say I don't believe in it. That's a different story. I think I do believe in it, but nah, I didn't.
Is it something you think in the future that you would ever explore?
Therapy?
Yeah. I know music in it of itself is therapeutic.
Yeah.
Therapy to me is a system that one allows to enter to their life if at its best that helps challenge their perspective of how they view the world, to make sure that they are viewing it in the healthiest frame of mind for them. Because somebody can suppress something that in the meantime feels like you're getting past it, but it's the thing that 20 years later leads to a health crisis, right? That manifests itself in a different way. And so that to me, and that's not the only system that does that, right? But that's one system of, you know, so especially coming from our community, you know, that therapy is something that we
don't like it, man.
you know what I'm saying? We Usain Bolt away from, you know? So I'm trying to, you know, get an understanding, because I could, you know, we've been talking too. It's like I could tell you're a really thoughtful, intelligent guy, and then like I watched you immediately shut down the idea of therapy. So I'm interested as into like why you feel that way.
I don't know. I mean, I've had experiences over life, man. Like just being for real. Like my younger siblings, man, they were caught in the system. You know what I'm saying? So my mother had a drug issue. So because of that, I went through the whole shit with them, man, seeing the psychologists and therapists coming through and social workers and shit. It just, I don't know. It just didn't really, I don't know. I didn't take the positives from, I don't know. It's hard to explain that shit, man. I just, maybe it's something I'll grow into one day. Just ain't got there yet.
I got you. It requires, I could tell it's something that as you talk about suppression, you kind of let this deep down in there. And so to bring that up, and that's not like an easy thing to do. You know, it's like there's things that even at the base level, we started with especially as men, we start suppressing things very early on. And then we just build on top of that suppression. Yeah. So talk to me about your musical process, man. You know, obviously part of it is therapeutic, but you like to talk your shit too. You like to have fun. You like to talk about a lot of different things. So how does it come to you? Are you writing every day? Is it the beat that, inspires you? where does it come from?
Combination of all of that. I think, man, I don't know how to say that shit. It's like being creative isn't a switch you can turn off and on. When you're inspired, you know what I'm saying? So for me, I'll be honest, man, I could be just in the car and I might just hear a rap song by another rapper, Lil Durk or somebody. And that, like, oh shit, that went so hard, made me want to write something. I could be browsing, shopping beats or whatever, and I might hear that one that's like, okay, it gave me a thought process, a topic. So that's how I kind of go about the writing process. Sometimes I might just be running around the house with the kids playing, and if I know it, man, it's like, yo, let me jot this bar down. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends. But when it comes to, I guess, the topics I write about, I try to be a fairly honest artist. I don't like to exaggerate and talk about things I didn't do or didn't live. So a lot of it too is just like my personal experience, a regular common person trying to make it up, I mean, I got 5 kids, so three baby mamas, you know what I mean? So I talk about the different experiences with the women, you know what I'm saying? Journey with the music, my son that passed away, my sister and things like that. So I try to embody it all, man, talk about all that shit. And then sometimes just keep kicking shit, man. Sometimes, you're not always in a serious type of mood with your music. Just have some fun. So sometimes I'm just kicking shit, man, how I feel. Normally like a real, I would say like goofy, like to have fun, laugh type of person. So sometimes it's real playful. It just depends, man. Whatever I feel inspired by, that's what I do,
Why'd you get married?
Kids, for sure. Like, so I said, I was that person. I was that 20-year-old that, the family's like, yo, y'all should get married, you got kids. But, you do that shit and then what? You have no plan. You're just 2 kids out here, I'm not making them. I'm fucked up in the game, So I might be like Kmart, like $9 an hour at the time or some shit. Come on, I got a family to feed, though. She's a young woman. She don't, understand. It take money to do things. She want to be a stay-at-home wife because that was her dream. You see what I'm saying? But we didn't take time to allow ourselves that motherfucking path to do it that way. So, you know what I mean? It's just, you live and you learn, man. But if I can tell anybody, fuck that marriage shit when you're 19, 18, 19, 20 shit. You don't know shit about life yet, man. Go live some life first. You know what I'm saying? Like, go live some life first, for real.
Pressure pushes a lot of people to do things that they're not ready for.
Yeah.
Even good things, right? You might hear it in a negative sense. Oh, pressure forced them to the streets, pressure forced them to this.
I agree.
Marriage is, in the right context, is a beautiful thing. But before your time, it could be the worst thing for you.
Absolutely.
All right. So pressure is definitely something. There's a lot of self-confidence, but also goes back to knowing yourself.
Yeah.
All right. And it's tough if you got, especially as men, you got your fiance saying, oh, your girlfriend for
Her family saying,
you got it to her, and then you know that this is that energy.
Yeah.
Right. All of
off
it.
The rip. You sit there like, man, fuck. All right, gotta go.
Exactly. Knowing that you don't really want to do it.
Yeah. No, it's not good. No, it's not a good decision. No, it's not. It's not where you should be at. But you're trying to please people. Once you're at the point where you grow up a little bit, and you sit back. I mean, of course, this is be real. Like everything's better in hindsight. You see everything better in hindsight. So, you're always gonna look back at shit and be like, yo, what? You know what? That was crazy. But if you can find a way to not make those mistakes, I just really advise anybody don't do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Take your time, live life, man. All that shit comes. To me, the best relationships come when they're even not planned. When you see somebody and y'all off as friends, and before you know it, y'all just find out the chemistry is just that fucking dope. You didn't actually set out for that. Like, I'll be honest with you, I don't think I ever asked him about in my life. I never did. I never asked him out, never be my girl type of shit. I never did that.
Now, do you apply pressure if there's somebody that you want or something that you're interested in?
And that's the difference, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think...
Because there is that point, even before you get to that, where you still got to let them know.
You got to let them know. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure I do. But yeah, it definitely is a period of where it's like this friendship, and then, it gets weird. You don't know where you guys are at and shit. And then it's like, okay, yeah, I want that. And now it's like, okay, you start doing little shit, throwing signs, like now you're popping up every night. You know what I'm saying? Like you're calling a lot more, the titles start coming. That's the pressure. Let you know, okay, this is what it is. But it's I think it should be that process. That's how I feel.
Women, not all women, but a lot of women, when kids get into play, the idea of sacrifice and the kids and the relationship and the unit become more important than sometimes the idea of an individual dream or like a man's purpose. They believe that you should be focusing on us.
Yeah. And again, that's a good one, man. That goes back to your partner, man. I've had partners that believe in, some that didn't. The ones that don't, they're gonna always try to impede and stand in the way of the shit. It's never gonna change. You're never gonna prove enough to them to make them want to believe in that dream. If their motive is other than supporting you, like if she wants you to be all about her, then guess what? Now what you do is gonna still always be all about her. But I have people that don't support, man. You know what I'm saying? Like in the day, you just gotta know who you're dealing with. And if it's not healthy, don't be scared to cut the ties, man. I think as a people, sometimes we're like loyalty to a fault. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you gotta know when to cut ties. Like, it's cool to be loyal. You should be loyal. You know what I'm saying? Like that's everything, but to the right people. Yeah. To the right people, though.
Oftentimes that cord is attached to somebody who we see is not doing as well as us or not in the space that we think that they should be in. And so there's that guilt in
trying to help. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Trying to reach back and pull somebody. But again, sometimes you gotta know when to let that go, man, and self-preserve, like defend your space. I'm a big believer. Defend your mental health, your space at all costs, man. Now we all go through shit in life and things out of our control at times. Like I told you guys about shit I went through. Like my mother been on drugs, man, since I was like 4th grade. Not real relationship with my father type of shit. Lost a sister. Matter of fact, my 3-year-old sister died on my oldest son's birthday. I was at my son's birthday party. I had to leave to go deal with that. So like you can't tell me you can't, find a way to overcome. You know what I'm saying? But it really just comes down to the mindset of the person.
Do you test for mindset now? When you're
always
okay.
Everybody deal with it, whether it be business or personal. I'm always getting the mindset of the person.
How do you do it? What are some things that, like, even if it's subconscious, like how do you test for the mindset of the type of people that you want around you at this point?
What are their goals, right? I'm gonna ask them what their goals are. And sometimes you can just see it, but let's say it's the first time we're gonna converse and talk and shit. I kind of see your mindset there. What are you aiming for in life? What are your goals? What's your understanding of your surroundings right now as we speak? You see what I'm saying? It's a lot of people in situations that don't know what the hell is going on. We see it all the time, man. I watch interviews, you see artists, man, and you got these major deals, and they don't even know who work at the label.
So for your fans, man, musically, what's coming up, man? What can they expect from you?
So, fresh off the drop of Epiphany, man, I actually did really well. We got a new project coming. I won't release the title of the album right now. It's still kind of early, but got some nice names on the project. I can't drop that yet either, but just know it's coming, man. 10-track album. We're getting active again, man. About to really just hit the streets again. About to hit the streets to get things back active. You know, I'm out here with you guys chopping it up. You know, I'll be in the A next month. And a lot of exciting stuff coming. I won't even really get into details, but they can stay in tune with me through social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, Snapchat. I got a lot of stuff coming, man. A lot of positive things happening, man. And I'm even looking at some community stuff, too. When I first came out in the game, man, I tried my little hand at that. Again, timing was off. I had to do a couple of events, man, back home in Carolina. And it was basically like some domestic violence prevention kind of thing or whatever. So I was doing like, charity and raising, throwing concerts and raising the money and giving it to them. But I might look to get back into that. It just, again, it's all in how much this shit takes out of me, man. It takes a lot to do this music shit by itself. So.
Well, we appreciate you sitting down with us, man.
I appreciate it, man.
Chopping it up. Had a great time with you today, man. Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
My man, any final words that you just, you want to get off your chest? Anything you have not talked about yet that you want to?
Just, if you like what you saw today, make sure you guys check me out on Instagram at Nitres the Veteran. That's NITRESTHA Veteran. Also on TikTok, same handle. All right, it's your boy Nitres. I'm out.